Hi, welcome to Group 16's Capstone Senior Design Project. We called it Classmate. My name is Ava. I'm a senior, a CIS major, and before the rest of my group takes over, I am going to talk about what our problem was, what we wanted to solve, and how we do things now. So to begin, Classmate is a personal assignment planning app that will work with the Blackboard API to retrieve a student's active assignments, quizzes, announcements, and more. So what is our app meant to do and what problem does it solve? It's meant to help college students of all demographics, whether they're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, or whether they're a computer science major or a theater major. As the five of us are students here, over the past 3 to 4 years, we've all struggled in our own ways with Blackboard, wanting to see different features in the software. And we struggled with the organization of it, finding our tasks, being able to add our own assignments that maybe a professor doesn't always, announce on Blackboard. So we wanted to find a way where we can solve these problems and help students track all their upcoming exams, assignments, and even if they have to do individual meetings, group projects, things like that. So how do we do things now? We implemented a few features that we would like to see in Blackboard that can hopefully help future students. To begin, you can add your own unique tasks. So whether you have to, like I said, a study session or your own personal motivation to get something done, you can add that your own, the title, the description, everything that you would want, you can put in the app. You can see your tasks in multiple views, so you can see it in a running task list, you can see the completed ones that you have, and then you could also see it in a calendar format that goes week to week. You can view all of your grades as well as try and edit your grades in a grade calculator, so you can kind of see potentially what you could receive and what you need to hit your desired grade. You can filter your assignments based on a course selection, so as you'll see in the demo, when you select the course on the side, those assignments with that course will show up. And then finally, we implemented a due soon feature where on the left-hand sidebar, the top 3 running tasks that are due soon will pop up in bright red font so that you can know what's due soon so you're not late in any of your assignments. And again, we hope that this could really be useful to future students of all universities, and that we hope we made things easier in your academic journey.
Hi, my name is Cam Osterl. I'm a senior as well in computer science, and I took on a majority of the back-end technologies. So to start, we started with Java for our main language of choice for the backend. The technologies and frameworks that were given to us with Spring Boot were very vital in the ease and scalability of our project. So we use Spring Boot for a majority of our backend, including our HTTP API server for interfacing with the front end and back end. We also integrated our testing through the Spring Boot framework with Mockito to give us accurate tests without changing stuff in our database. Spring Boot also includes Maven for package dependencies, which helped us a lot for our scalability between our different group mates. Everybody had different computers and many different operating systems that we were using, so having the dependency manager in Maven is a pretty common thing in the industry, but I found it was a lot more helpful than we had realized. Spring Boot as a technology itself had a lot of integrations with external things. One of the most important ones was our database. We chose MongoDB for its document style over SQL tables. That each document is very, very well integrated in particular Java objects. So for each object in our database, we're able to make a class of, say, a user and then store all those variables in there to prevent us from even touching a JSON object. For the hosting, we host this on a personal web server that I own that we use Nginx in collaboration with Docker and Kubernetes to build our images of our app to host them on the web. Nginx is our primary router for those. So in our Nginx configuration, we have separate URL configurations for both the front end and back end for them to be able to get through cross-origin issues and talk with each other. One of the most influential things in continuing our deployment is our GitHub deployments. Each of those references the Docker images that we created that will take our Spring Boot project and, as you'll see, our Angular project for the front end and build those automatically after passing the test. Each of our deployments in GitHub requires the test to pass to even build. So we were able to get that continuous integration going for ease of merging our code in and working together. Kubernetes was deployed as sort of a side project, but also the benefits of if we run into some unhinged errors in some of our code, it doesn't destroy the whole app. With our use of Kubernetes on my personal server, we have 3 nodes apiece per the front end and back end that we have a software called Minikube that is able to route requests from the Nginx server to the 3 individual pods per front end and back end.
Hi, my name is Michael, and I'm going to be going over a lot of the front-end technologies that we used in the creation of our app. Our primary technology was Angular. We used Angular primarily because it is a fully fledged framework that doesn't require the use of outside libraries and allows you to compartmentalize your website into different components. A component in Angular is just a section of your HTML template, CSS, and logic contained within a TypeScript class that you can use to create a self-contained portion of your site that looks and acts a certain way, and then you can build your site out of these components. We also have services that we can use to share information across components as well as make requests to the back end. And these services can do anything from making requests. They can store information that you need to use later so that when components reload, they don't have to make more requests to the back end through the service. We also used signals throughout our app so that when you make changes to one component, those changes can immediately be reflected in other components across the site. We also use Node.js and NPM. Node.js is just so that you're able to run the front end locally outside of a browser, and NPM is the package manager for Node. You use it for things like installing Angular and all of the external libraries that it's using. We also use Jasmine for our unit tests. Jasmine is specifically to write the unit tests, and within Jasmine you can mock certain things. So you can either mock individual functions or entire objects like components and services and have them return mock values so that you don't have to call certain functions for real, like maybe functions that would be calling your backend and returning real data. And it keeps your unit test environment consistent, and it doesn't interfere with any other technology that's running on or that's going on. And we also use Web Test Runner to run our unit tests. It runs completely self-contained within the in your terminal, although unfortunately it requires Chrome to run, and we could not find any way around that, whether it be another browser or just running it completely alone.
Hi, my name is Caden Scruggs. I am a senior in computer science, and we also used Playwright to do the behavioral testing. Essentially, Playwright is a tool from Angular that is used for generating and running tests for Angular projects. It's pretty fun to use. What you do is you run the code gen, and it will track the actual movements that you do on the screen and automatically turn that into test code for you. And then you can directly insert that in. And then there's a lot of issues that come along with that, with the specific identifiers for different elements within the DOM itself. But for the most part, it's a very helpful tool for Angular testing.
Hi, my name is Fred Shine. I'm also a senior in computer information systems major, and I'll be doing the demo of our app. So first, we have our homepage, which we have a little FAQ to our website that we just created with a little guidance to all how to use the app and all other important things about our technologies. So we can go back here and then we can log in. I'll be logging in as Cam today. Once we log in as him, we can see we get loaded into our task list initially. We can see all our tasks listed here that are not yet marked completed, and we can see all previous completed tasks when you click right here, and that'll show you a list of everything you've done so far this semester. We can filter by course 2 different ways. We can filter individually, just grabbing a single course and looking at those specific assignments, or we can filter by course, grouping them together in this window here. Additionally, we can do this with the title and the due date. We have our due soon, so what's coming up, our next 3 newest assignments coming up here. And then we have what a user can do. So if a user wants to add, if Cam wants to add a task, he would go here. He would type in new task, and this is a test. We would set the date for this Friday. The time is 11:59, and it is for CSCE 492. And we can save and close, or we can add another. We'll add another real quick. And we get a little pop-up down here letting us know that that task was added successfully. We can add a test 2, and then we can get that due date for next Monday. The time's 11:59 again, and same 492. And then we save and close. That shows a pop-up successfully showing that we have added that task. We can close out of that here, and we can see those were added here and here. Next, if we want to edit those same tasks, we just go right here to the edit window, we edit task, and we can see that once we save that, we can see that change to edit task here. And if we want to remove test 2, we can remove it here with a little confirmation letting us know we do want to remove that task, and there it goes. Next, we can go over to our calendar. In our calendar, that shows us a different view of our tasks. As you can see, the green check mark shows that that's completed. Anything that would have a red exclamation point would be past due, like this, for example. And again, we can click on these tasks here, and we can show what is going on the screen. Next, we want to go over to our grades. We have all our grades listed here, and we can add grades to these assignments. For example, reading 19, let's say he got an 85. Once we click out, we get a B, and we can see that translates right over to our final grades tab over here. We can add another one, again, for this class, and this time he got a 95. Again, that grade gets added, and you can see it affects our final grades. Additionally, we have a grade calculator where we can show, we can determine what is you're going to be your potential grade of a course. So far we have this filled out for us as it was saved. Let's say he also got a 95 on the final, and he expects to get a 90 on the project. If we check that, we can see that his final grade would be a 90 in the class, giving him the A that he's looking for. We can also quickly check out some notifications. We can see what we have coming up today and tomorrow. And when you're done viewing these, if you want, you're welcome to clear the notifications. Additionally, we have a settings here where we can see some just basic information about our user, Cam's, his preferred name, his university email, his personal email, and his phone number. Here he can update his password. And we have some notifications he'd like to receive, whether they be to his university email, personal email, as well as text messages. If we make a change to his settings, we can change that phone number. Let's say he got a new number and we save those settings. You'll see they saved. We can go out and we can see those. That change is permanent. We'll go back to what it was. And then finally, once we're done using the app, Cam will sign out and you'll look to use it another day. Thank you.